Hello, test 1, 2.
Okay.
Volume now. Hello? Silence. Filing in are the judges of Ondo State Judiciary. My Lord, Honorable Justice T.M. Adedipe. My Lord, Honorable Justice Ademola Enikomeyi. My Lord, Honorable Justice J.O. Abe. My Lord, Honorable Justice Sunday Olorundaunsi. My Lord, Honorable Justice Dr. O.X. Kuteyi. My Lord, Honorable Justice A.M. Owoyemi. My Lord, Honorable Justice C. Adeshola Impact. My Lord, Honorable Justice O.M. Adejumo. My Lord, Honorable Justice W.R. Olamide. My Lord, Honorable Justice P.O. Ikujuni. My Lord, Honorable Justice Aderemi Adegoroye. My Lord, Honorable Justice Adeyemi Fasanmi. My Lord, Honorable Justice D.I. Kolawole. My Lord, Honorable Justice O. Akitan Osadebe. My Lord, Honorable Justice A.O. Adebusoye. My Lord, Honorable Justice O.A. Adegbenyigbe. My Lord, Honorable Justice S.A. Bola. My Lord, Honorable Justice A.O. Odushola. My Lord, Honorable Justice W.A. Akitoroye. My Lord, Honorable Justice E.A. Alade, President, Customary Court of Appeal. And my Lord, the Chief Judge of Ondo State, Honorable Justice O.O. Akeredolu.
We are not going to take our time. Please, if for any reason your name is not mentioned, be sure that you are important to us and that for the constraints of time and because of the need for us to move to other items, we might not be able to introduce everybody. It is my pleasure to introduce to us the Governor of Ondo State, Arakunrin Oluwarotimi Odun Ayo Akeredolu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, ably represented by Mr. Adekola Olawoye, Senior Advocate of Nigeria as well. He is the Honorable Attorney General and the Commissioner for Justice for Ondo State. Good afternoon, sir. It is also my pleasure to introduce the learned Sikh in our midst. We have Mr. Goke Fakunle, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Thank you so much for coming, sir. We also have Mr. Dayo Akinlaja. He's also a Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Seated by his side is Mr. Olushola Oke, Senior Advocate. Chief Olushola Oke, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. I won't take a fine this afternoon. Thank you so much for coming. It is also my pleasure to welcome the retired judges of Ondo State. We are grateful to have Baba Motade in our midst. Good afternoon, sir. Same thing, my Lord, Honorable Justice Folashade Aguda Taiwo, the immediate past president of the Customary Court of Appeal, Ondo State. Thank you for being with us. They were in the church. In the church also, I saw my Lord, but he's not here with his wife, but we appreciate that his lordship was here. It is also my pleasure to introduce the honorable members of the Ondo State Judicial Service Commission. We have Mrs. Fumi Abitoye. Thank you for coming. We are grateful. Thank you for coming here. Mr. Honorable Feyi Adeboyeku, we are grateful that you are here. Thank you so much. We have Mama Akinshelonyi, and incidentally, Baba Akinshelonyi is here too. Thank you for being part of this program. We are sincerely grateful. It is also my pleasure to introduce the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Justice, Mr. Cyril Akinrin Sola. Thank you for coming. I also want to appreciate the presence of the spouses of the Honorable Judges of Ondo State. Thank you so much for coming. I can see some of their children too. We are indeed grateful for your presence. I want to also appreciate the Chief Registrars that are here, the Secretary Judicial Service Commission. We have also the Director of Multi-Door Courthouse, Mr. Bankole Akinwumi. It is my pleasure also to welcome all the Deputy Chief Registrars that are here, all the directors of the Ondo State Judiciary, and the various chairmen, and the chairman of the various bar association branches. I can see Kare, I can see Ondo, I can see Okitipupa, and Akure, who is hosting them. Thank you so much. All the lawyers from the Ministry of Justice, we are grateful that you are here. My colleagues, your worships, thank you for being here. Chairman of Rent Tribunals, we are grateful for your presence. Same thing for customary court judges and President Grade A customary court judges. We are grateful. All staff of the Ondo State Judiciary, please permit me that I'm not mentioning people one by name. I want to appreciate also the gentlemen of the press. We welcome all our friends, our guests, our partners, and indeed all stakeholders in the administration of justice. All people that are interested, genuinely interested in the administration of justice. You are the reason why we do what we do. You are the reason why we come to work every day. So thank you for being part of this program. It is now my pleasure, and for anybody that I have not mentioned, please, you are recognized by God. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to invite my Lord, the Honorable Chief Judge, the Honorable Justice O.O. Akeredolu, to give an introductory speech. My Lord, sir.
Thank you very much, Chief Registrar of the Ondo State High Court. The Governor of Ondo State, Arakunrin Oluwarotimi Odunayo Akeredolu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, ably represented by the Honorable Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Ondo State, Mr. Adekola Olawoye. President of the Court of Appeal, Honorable Judges of both the High Court and Customary Court of Appeal, Honorable Judges from other jurisdictions, peradventure they are here, retired judges, I recognize the presence of my Lord Justice Omotade. Thank you very much, sir. In absentia, I also recognize the presence of my Lord Justice Ojuolakwe and his amiable wife. My Lord Justice Folashade Oluwatoyin Aguda Taiwo. You are recognized, my Lord. Spouses of 7 and retired judges, your worships, senior advocates of Nigeria. We are improving. Now we have 4 of them seated here. Maybe by this time of next year, we'll have like 8 of them. Mr. Goke Fakunle, Mr. Dayo Akinlaja, Chief Olu Sholaoke, and the Honorable Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Ondo State, Mr. Adekola Olawoye. In fact, you have 3 reasons to be recognized: as the representative of the Governor, as Senior Advocate, and as the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Ondo State. The Solicitor General and Permanent Secretary, Ondo State Ministry of Justice, Honorable Commissioners of the Judicial Service Commission, Honorable Feyi Adeboyeku, Honorable Fumilola Abitoye, Honorable Akinsheloyin and Papa Akinsheloyin. Honorable Chairman, House Committee of the Judiciary, our Chief Registrars, the Secretary to the Judicial Service Commission, the Director of the Multi-Door Courthouse, our Deputy Chief Registrars, Chairman, Nigeria Bar Association of the different branches in Ondo State, the Nigeria Bar Association of all the branches in Ondo State, our directors in both the High Court and the Customary Court of Appeal, and of course the Judicial Service Commission. All members of staff of Ondo State Judiciary, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I give glory to God for another opportunity to present the 2020-2021 annual legal year speech. The legal year celebration is a well-cherished tradition of our English heritage, which has survived centuries and traversed beyond countries and continents in the British Commonwealth. It is a time to evaluate the events of the past year and felicitate with one another on the commencement of the current one. It is a privilege to be alive, and in the mood of these times, a very special grace to be here. Therefore, with a grateful heart, I welcome you with the wordings of the hymn, "Let us with a gladsome mind praise the Lord, for he is kind, for his mercies endure, ever faithful, ever sure." John Milton, 1623 AD. The 2019-2020 legal year opened with a lot of hope and expectations. But no sooner than it commenced, but it ran into what is considered one of the most global defining events of this century, the coronavirus. It was a plague that took the center stage of international attention and changed lives forever. Though the wild rampage of its spread seemed to have stemmed, it is important to know that the virus is still strolling around. Hence our need to adhere strictly to the established protocols for prevention. One of the smallest vestiges of its effect is the new way we do things, now called the new norm. I observe here that most of, if not all of us, now wear face masks, a wardrobe absurdity this time last year. We are also physically distanced now talk in hushed tones. While thanking God for sparing our lives, we commiserate with all those who have lost loved ones in the ravaging tempest of the pandemic. 2019-2020 in retrospect. Appointments. Following the appointments of 4 additional judges in the 2019-2020 legal year, the High Court had 20 judges spread around the 10 judicial divisions of the state. Within the run of the legal year, a substantive precedent was appointed for the Ondo State Customary Court of Appeal to replace the retired but not tired first president, Honorable Justice Folashade Agudatayo. May I use this medium to again congratulate Honorable Justice Iyalade and wish her a successful tenure. Furthermore, in the course of the year, Mrs. Bola Tito F. Ajibade was appointed as the substantive chief registrar of the High Court. The magistracy also witnessed enhanced manpower with the appointment of 10 additional magistrates to fill existing vacancies and complement the yawning personnel deficiency at that level. Appointments were also made to fill vacancies that existed in the rent tribunals. Presidents and members of customary courts were appointed, while consideration are ongoing for the appointment of customary court members to replace those whose contracts have ended. Following necessary statutory approvals, we have commenced the process leading to the appointment of an additional judge, each for the Ondo State High Court and the Ondo State Customary Court of Appeal. As usual, we are committed to a transparent exercise, and before the end of the current legal year, the processes will be completed. Information technology. In line with the current realities of COVID-19 and in furtherance of our desire to take justice to a higher level, just as the close of the last legal year, we partnered Law Pavilion, the reputable law IT solutions company, to break new ground that has made it possible for cases to be filed and tracked without physical visit to our registry. The end-to-end court automation system for e-filing and audio and video conferencing has made it possible for court processes to be filed in proxy and enable appearance for cases through video conferencing. This process is particularly good for practitioners outside jurisdiction and has been efficient. The project is still developing and presently limited to the Akure registry, but has opened novel opportunities and made access to court much easier. It is a remarkable first in Nigeria, and we're very proud to be the trailblazer. As we work towards enlarging its operation to other registries in the state, I call on all legal practitioners to embrace this developmental stride by simply logging on www.ondostatejudiciary.com.ng to experience a new vista of opportunities offered by this project. The High Court Civil Procedure Rules 2019 has provisions to accommodate the use of technology in the administration of justice. Therefore, in the new normal, Ondo State Judiciary now has facility for virtual proceedings in the High Court. Indeed, we commenced virtual sitting at the headquarters, and it was hugely successful. As the legal instruments are being worked out and perfected, we hope to leverage on our IT compliance to have more of it and bring trials closer to the people without much stress to practitioners and litigants. Justice reform. Also in the last legal year, we inaugurated the Criminal Justice Review Committee with membership drawn from the spectrum of judges, academia, legal practitioners, and other major stakeholders in the criminal justice sector under the chairmanship of Honorable Justice A.O. Adebusoye. Their main duty is to undertake a holistic review of the criminal code and the administration of criminal law and bring them in line with modern realities and procedure. It is also intended that their recommendation, when enacted, will expedite the criminal justice procedure and take justice to international best practices available in developed legal systems. The committee is near completion. The committee work is near completion, and hopefully before the end of this current year, we shall see the gains of these efforts. In the course of the year, I had the privilege to undertake 3 visits to correctional centers in Okitikupa, Ondo, Owo, and Akure. The visits afforded me the opportunity to decongest the centers and attend to some cases that desired immediate interventions for bail or release. The correctional center visit entourage had the full complement of the Judiciary, the Ministry of Justice, the Legal Aid Council, private legal practitioners, the St. Joseph's Halfway House, police prosecutors, medical doctors from the Ministry of Health, and justice-based not-for-profit organizations. In all, 47 detainees were considered for bail and or released. We also incorporated the counseling of released inmates by qualified NGOs to at least ensure some measure of seamless integration into the society. Some of the inmates learned some entrepreneurial skills. Partners West Africa, Nigeria was on ground to provide transport fares to some of the released inmates. Oath registry. In the course of the last year, the oath registry was revamped to ensure proper documentation of affidavits and declarations. We have also introduced the use of customized seals and papers to ensure the integrity of the process. We call on the bar to partner with us for its success. Training and manpower development. In the last year, we undertook some training programs for both judicial and other workers of the judiciary. An important one was the training organized by Partners West Africa, PWN, also known as Rule of Law and Empowerment Initiative, for magistrates and judges to keep them up to date with the provisions and realities of the administration of criminal justice law and its procedures. These training programs, though virtual, were largely successful and set a new tone for better interpretation of the administration of criminal justice law 2015. Other workers of the Ondo State Judiciary also attended several virtual training programs organized by the National Judicial Institute, and I'm sure that the exposures have rubbed on better work performance and service delivery. We hope to have more trainings for staff before the end of this year. With the passage of time, our in-house judiciary training school, which will address practical work challenges and peculiarities, will burst. We call on our trainees to constantly go over the training manuals to keep abreast with modern ways of service delivery in the judiciary. The bar and the bench. We continue to enjoy a robust relationship with the bar in the last year. This is largely due to the improved engagements between the bar and the bench, which straightened possible areas of friction in our relationship. We also continued to involve the bar actively in programs and other technical committees set up throughout the year. We hope to leverage on this renewed commitment to our shared desire to see a developed justice sector that will be the envy of other judiciaries in the country. It is only by working harmoniously together that the bar and the bench can advance the cause of justice and promote a just society where the rule of law is observed and human rights respected. Challenges. Despite our great intentions and budgeting by government, Ondo State Judiciary has continued to face the perennial dearth of funds to carry out even basic functions. In the last year, no capital project was executed in Ondo State Judiciary, and indeed, basic library books and law pavilion solutions for law reports have faced serious backlog in terms of renewals and updates. An underfunded judiciary cannot deliver optimally on societal expectations. Our lean finances have adversely affected every area of our operation, including infrastructure, basic office equipment, and prompt payment of allowances. You understand the economic meltdown, but in the middle of it, we request that reasonable funding of this third arm of government should be prioritized. Our courtrooms are also in various stages of disrepair. A remarkable reference is the High Court Complex, Ondo, with particular emphasis on High Court 1, which has become a huge embarrassment as a bucket has to be placed in the chambers and front of the judge in open court to collect rainwater during sittings. We have such challenges in Ikare Akoko, Igbaraoke, Ifon, and Okitipupa. The fence of the High Court, Ikare Akoko, just collapsed, and the premises is now exposed to security challenge, including but not limited to invasion and burglary. Same situation applies to our registries and other offices. A deliberate and urgent government intervention is required as the torrential rains have commenced to effectively address these varying degrees of decadence. We are getting overwhelmed. Another challenge we are facing presently is inadequate court halls. 2 of our courtrooms and a large part of our available parking space and offices in the headquarters have been hemmed in by the newly constructed Hospital Road. This is a big challenge, and we call on government to build a befitting High Court complex. Welfare of judges, and of course magistrates. Within the course of the year, government bought 16 Prado Jeeps for High Court judges and 3 of the judges of the Ondo State Customary Court of Appeal to replace the old ones that were supplied 11 years ago. This welfare gesture is well appreciated and has addressed vehicle breakdowns and risks associated with it. While thanking government for this, we also repeat our call for the magistracy to be enhanced with car allocations and other generous welfare packages. While the Ondo State Judiciary is committed to the lofty aim of promoting efficient management of justice to all as encapsulated by its mission statement, let me say that the effect of adequate staff welfare package on worker productivity cannot be overemphasized. Appreciation. Before I close, I want to express my sincerest appreciation to all those who have stood with us in the last year. Particularly, I want to thank my brother judges and distinguished members of the Ondo State Judicial Service Commission, the magistracy, the bar, and all workers of Nigeria for its support of this institution. In conclusion, the achievement of this past legal year has been positive in nature, but just as the good man said in Job 2, verse 10, what? Shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? We lost one of our respected and diligent honorable judges of the High Court to the cold hands of death. Late Honorable Justice G.B. Oluquiton died unexpectedly, and we pray the good Lord keeps the family he left behind. Ondo State Judiciary is capable of growth, and I crave your indulgence to move this institution forward. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, my Lord, the Honorable Chief Judge of Ondo State. While His Lordship's speech was ongoing, my Lord, Honorable Justice E.A. Ojo-Olakwe, the retired acting Chief Judge of Ondo State, and his wife came in. Good afternoon, my Lord. Thank you for coming. It is also my pleasure to introduce Princess Oladunni Odu. She is the chairman of SUBEB. Thank you for your presence. While my Lord the Chief Judge was going through the speech, His Lordship mentioned information technology. It is my pleasure to inform members gathered there that we are streaming live on Zoom Facebook, and YouTube. Just click Ondo State Judiciary 2020-2021 Legal Year Ceremony, and PIM, you are there. It is now my pleasure for us to go to the remaining 3 speeches that we have this afternoon. I am going to invite Mr. Goke Fakunle, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. No, the Attorney General speeches.
Maybe the governor will speak to us. Governor's speech. Nobody speaks after Mr. Governor. Yes, nobody speaks after Mr.
My Lord, the Chief Judge of Ondo State, my noble lords of the President Customary Court and other judges, our noble judges here present, Papa Ojolape, retired, and wife, Honorable Justice Papa Motade, retired, my Lord Justice Agudatawo, retired, my Lord, on behalf of the INAPA, my learned brother will speak for us today. But before I take my seat, with your Lordship's leave, I observe that now that we have an eminent lady as Chief Judge, eminent lady as President Customary Court of Appeal, a distinguished lady as Chief Registrar, what is the position of men? My Lord, with your Lordship's leave, my learned friend will talk from here. My noble lords, just I crave for the kind indulgence of your lordship to take it a little further. Recently, somebody mentioned something which I think should agitate the mind of every one of us. He said, there is always what we call come-uppance. There is always a consequence. And to put it a little bit more mild, what goes around comes around. Yes. I'm just too sure that there would have been a time that it would have been men or... So we cannot complain. But when the tide eventually changes again, my Lord, I pray I hope we will not be hearing gender. I thank your Lordship. Okay. My Lord, if there's anything I'm always scared of, it is in observing protocols. So I would, why I would not want to put myself forward as a shattered libertine, I want to pray your lordships to grant me the very kind permission and indulgence to say that I embrace the protocols ably, nobly, and judicially laid down by my noble Lord, the Honorable the Chief Judge. I pray for the kind indulgence to just say that and proceed to the reading of the address. But certainly not without acknowledging the sheer magnanimity and generosity of mind of my very good senior, respected brother and header, Mr. Olagoke Fakunle, SAN. Of course, it is by his grace and sheer indulgence that I'm doing this, even though I had the kind permission of your lordship to have, I had been informed before now that I would do this address, but I thought that he would not be present on this occasion. So for him to have graciously agreed for me to still go ahead to deliver my people, I must say that I appreciate you, sir. I'm grateful, sir. Address delivered on behalf of the inner bar by Dayo Akinlaja, SCN, FCIRB, at the special court session held on 19th October 2020 to commemorate the formal commencement of our 2020/2021 new legal year by Ondo State Judiciary. I've observed the courtesies. First and foremost, we all must give honor, glory, and adoration to the Most High God for giving us the grace and the privilege to be alive and to hold this ceremonial session to mark the beginning of a new legal year. It is stating the very obvious that the entirety of human race has thus far witnessed a rather troublous, tortuous, horrendous, and horrifying year 2020. COVID-19 pandemic has brutally ravaged and scourged mankind with a frenetic zeal across the globe. Unfathomably, however, our African continent, that had been thought would be the epicenter of casualties of the pandemic, has experienced but a benign condition of the dreadful and deadly pandemic. As relieving and comforting this could be, the fact that a number of people have been lost to the pandemic here in Nigeria calls for sober reflections on the part of everyone, just as the fact that the world is here to have a panacea for the pandemic is a clarion call on us all not to waver in our vigilance. As often said in the literary world, it is not yet uhuru. While trusting that the good Lord who has kept us this far will help us tide over the global health crisis, it is my prayer that the souls of all departed shall rest in peace. Aside the issue of COVID-19, our country has had in other spheres more than a fair share of the vicissitudes of life in this running year. Talk of unprecedented level of insecurity and the infrastructural decay that have assumed a most disquieting, terrifying, and embarrassing dimension in our society. Our economy has equally witnessed an all-time low, with the consequence that a much larger population of the citizenry has become impoverished, perhaps more than ever hitherto. Not unexpectedly, there has been an upsurge in crimes and criminality. The fear of kidnapping is the beginning of wisdom. Scammers have been increasingly ferocious and ingenious in inventing all manner of devious ways to swindle people out of their hard-earned fortunes. From Yahoo Yahoo to Yahoo Plus, our trending lingos are incessantly hedged on our psyche to the peril of our emotional health and social well-being as a people. Disturbingly, not receding would appear to be the abhorrent spate of extrajudicial killings and institutional tyrannies that have for long been another bane of our existence as a nation. Some expected to be friends number one of the public have conducted themselves as sworn and implacable foes of the hapless among the citizenry. Shakespeare might well have had a situation in mind when he scripted thus in King Lear, I quote, "As flies to wanton boys are we to the gods, they kill us for their sport." That could be seen in King Lear, Act 4, Scene 1. Matters appear to have boiled over in this particular respect, however, with the nationwide process that have surfaced in the wake of the #EndSARS agitation. The protests are reminiscent of the wildfire in Harmattan scenario in the late Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart. In light of all this, there is a genuine cause for us all to be agitated as a nation. Ironically though, nothing is there to suggest that the powers that be are in tune with the dictates of the moment or learning the lessons that are patently there to be learned. The situation reminds one of the Bourbon dynasty of France that, I quote, had learned nothing and forgotten nothing. There have been calls for the restructuring of the country by way of return to regionalism or fiscal autonomy for states and rejigging of our security architecture among others. Sadly, mom would appear to be the word from the quarters that should be most concerned when the strident calls are not being muted with the instrumentality of security apparatus of the state. Of course, ignoring or repressing calls for a critical appraisal and possible overhaul of our socio-political system is anything but the remedy to our ailing system. Perhaps I should not venture any further into that realm, conscious of the need not to send possibly wrong signals from the hallowed chambers of the third arm of government to the two sister arms of government out there. Howbeit, while we may collectively and conveniently choose to leave the political class to interrogate the larger issues of concern to us as a nation, we cannot reasonably forbear to do that with respect to the issues that specifically pertain to our immediate constituencies, that is, the judiciary and the law profession. Milords and colleagues, permit me to ask, do we have the judiciary of our dream across board at the moment? Can we conscientiously pontificate that the end users derive real or meaningful utilitarian value from the judicial system we currently run? I am afraid the indices do not support affirmative answer to either of these questions. Perhaps I should be humble enough to add that I stand to be corrected. One thing is indubitable, however. Once it remains a truism that justice delayed is justice denied, the embittering reality is that a pristine judicial system remains a mirage as a date in this dear country of ours. We only need to consider the number of years it averagely takes to pursue a judicial remedy from the court of first instance to the judicial terminus of the nation for us to have a feel of what the pursuit of justice entails in our clime. Obviously enough, however, the malaise afflicting our judicial system does not just end on the altar of inordinate delay. The incentives for hard work, comfort, and emotional stability et al. On the part of critical stakeholders are abysmally lacking in the main. All we can pride ourselves with today is singularly hold to untrammeled passion for an unbridled dedication to the cause of duty on the part of a majority of our judicial officers. Kudos must always be given to those of our judicial officers with undeniable profound qualities of competence, probity, dexterity, assiduity, and perspicacity, without which no one can be worthy in character and learning, as demanded by the office of a jurist. I am tremendously proud and comforted to situate all your lordships in this sublime cadre. Sadly, however, that is not the story elsewhere most times. Whether we admit it or not is of no moment. Incidentally, we are cabined in this regard by our own professional coinage, nemo judex in causa sua. We cannot be a judge of our own cause. It's not for us to decide. Of course, if I must perforce measure my words with the bench as a matter of eternal professional duty, I should be excused if I dare say it more poignantly and pointedly when it comes to my own side of the professional divide, the bar. It is simply beyond disputation that the core values that used to signpost and engender professional excellence are daily taken to flight amongst us, almost with the speed of light. Unguarded penchant for quick, nay, instant enrichment appears to have significantly, if not overwhelmingly, trumped what should first be desired, that is, passion and enthusiasm for the profession of law. By reason of such, there is a festering propensity for cutting corners and polluting the streams of justice. Put succinctly, there is a deepening disregard for the tenets of the rule of law and professional etiquette, ahead oftentimes in the lowest of esteems. The need to shun prolixity will not allow me to delve into details. Howsoever, it is plain as day that our profession cries in vain to high heaven for a return to the glorious past. The lesson to be taken away from all the grim scenarios unavoidably painted above is that we need to sincerely evaluate ourselves and radically overhaul the system we run as critical stakeholders of the justice sector. For my colleagues especially, it is a duty we owe ourselves to retune our professional focus if we must pass on to coming generation a profession that any discerning mind will be proud of. Interestingly enough, even if we are not magnanimous as to care for the coming generation, at the rate at which things are evolving in the system, we need to urgently double down and concertedly escalate the war against unprofessional conducts and institutional decadence if we must salvage the fast receding integrity and functions of the bar and the bench. A quick fix in this area is achievable from periodic interface between the bar and the bench. It is very heartwarming that my Lord, the Honorable Chief Judge, mentioned this in the course of his Lordship's address. So I have some comfort in this regard that we honestly need more and more opportunities to interface. Nobody is out there to tell us what we need to know. It is for us as the bench and the bar to tell ourselves home truths as situations oftentimes demand. It is your lordships can look us straight in the eyes and tell us, this is not how we as your elders met this profession. I pray that my lords would be kind enough to accelerate the process of ensuring this, especially in this running legal year. In rounding off, a quick fix in this area is achievable from periodic interface between the bar and the bench. We should not wait for #legalprofession/judiciary before we wake up. As the social platitude goes, a stitch in time saves 9. In rounding off, it is comforting and assuaging to know that where there is a will, there is always a way. All we have to do is to bring to bear unremitted attention on the requisite areas and conscientiously predispose ourselves to the doing of all that is there to be done to positively change the narratives. The cusp of a new legal year that we are in today offers a good opportunity for such potentiality. Every cloud has a silver lining. That being so, we need not despair or give in to despondency. Let us take a cue and draw inspiration, optimism from the following dictum of the late sage, political legend, and legal icon of his own generation, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, which runs down. I quote, "After rain comes sunshine, after darkness comes the glorious dawn. There is no sorrow without its alloy of joy. There is no joy without its admixture of sorrow. Behind the ugly, terrible mask of misfortune lies the beautiful, soothing countenance of prosperity. So let us tear the mask for us to see the fortunes behind our present situation." I sincerely thank your noble lordships, esteemed colleagues, and all valued attendees for patiently enduring with almost palpable indulgence an intellectual exercise that I only hope I have not unintentionally or unwittingly pursued to the verge of drudgery with my very unique sense of communication.
Thank you so much, Leonard Sik. We are grateful, sir. Before I invite Mr. Rotimi Olorunfemi, the chairman MBA Akure, who is going to speak on behalf of all other chairmen of MBA branches, permit me to welcome and acknowledge the presence of the executives of Magistrate Association of Nigeria, Chairman Rent Tribunal Association, Customary Court Members Association, and JUSUN. You are all acknowledged. Thank you for being here. Mr. Olorunfemi, you have the floor, please.
My lords, I have the concurrence of my fellow chairmen to present and deliver this address on behalf of the Bar of Ondo State at the special court session of the 2020-2021 legal year ceremonies held on the 19th of October 2020. May I seek the leave of my Lord, the Honorable Chief Judge, to stand on the already established protocols. It gives me a great pleasure and honor to address this very unique gathering of eminent jurists, lawyers, and distinguished members of the public on behalf of the 5 branches of the Nigerian Bar Association in Ondo State at this special court session of the 2020-2021 legal year ceremonies. First, may I appreciate my Lord, the Honorable Chief Judge of Ondo State and his brother judges, the President of the Customary Court of Appeal and his brother judges, for significantly steering the ship of the judicial arm of the government in Ondo State to the current lofty heights of trust and confidence, which has been achieved through hard work and dedication to duty. In the face of deadly resources, dilapidated infrastructure, and more particularly at this very critical period of a new world order following the outbreak of COVID-19, which ravaged and still ravaging the whole world with no immediate end in sight. But the Almighty God will see us through. It is unarguable that in the face of this very deadly world pandemic, which trumped a substantial part of the preceding legal year, your lordships displayed exceptional and uncommon courage in ensuring that the wheel of justice kept grinding. Even though slightly slow, but it grinded exceedingly well, enough to the admiration of members of the bar, who would have felt the pang more in the face of a total shutdown of the courts in Ondo State. To this end, we wish to assure your lordships that the bar will continue to stand solidly with the judiciary, and we will continue to advocate for the protection and preservation of the interests of our judicial officers, from the lowest bench to the highest bench, as you remain the envy and conversely the whipping child of the other arms of government. The bar is therefore using this medium to call on the other arms and levels of government for an increased funding for the judiciary, which funding must be consistent and constant. And the best way to achieve this is no doubt by granting full and undiluted financial autonomy to the judiciary, which policy regrettably had been plagued by some political, in quotes, challenges in recent times. This speech must not end without a strident call by the bar for the provision of infrastructure and modern facilities